Hey, this is Omar, and we are back with another episode of Ask a Lender. And today I have Lisa Rivera with me
Hey.
from the Avalon Realty Group, right?
Yes, correct.
All right, sounds good. So we're going to get into it now. You are a agent, owner, broker, right, of the group. So that's different from being an agent. You're your own BIC, and then you have a team of people, right?
Well,
Well,
recently,
tell me your structure. You
okay,
tell us.
so at one point in time, like just recently within the last couple months, I took my brokerage under EXP.
Okay.
So we're a team still, and we're still our own thing over here, but we're still the Avalon Realty Group, but we're under EXP. And then we're also affiliated with it's more of a collaboration called Black Label Access.
Okay, that's right.
So yeah, kind of integrating with all that. We have the saying collaboration over competition,
Absolutely.
that type of thing. So,
Right.
yeah.
And also, I always say collaboration happens at the top. Right?
Correct.
So collaboration is a beautiful thing. I think people should do it more. And so I've heard people, a lot of entities, firms, collaborations, working in that manner because being affiliated with the ESP part, it relieves liability, right? Like they take over, handle certain. So tell me why that works for you, why you're structured that way, why you decided to be structured that way.
Well, one of the main reasons I decided to go to EXP was the trainings. So as an independent brokerage, we did our separate trainings, biweekly. But there's more opportunity for more trainings. Also, just the collaboration piece of it. I'm only one person.
Right.
And being involved with so many other people. As I have been doing this for 17 years, I know a lot.
17 years.
17
wow.
years. But there's people that know more than me. There's people that have come into the business after me that may have a better handle on, newer technology, things like that. So why not,
Right.
And then afford my agents the opportunity to, get those trainings at different times, especially our dual career agents that, work a 9 to 5.
Absolutely.
And then have the real estate career as well.
Oh, man, I would have never guessed that you have been 17 years.
17.
Wow. You have a full-fledged career in the real estate business. Wow, that's amazing. I'm nowhere near that amount of time in lending or agency. So you have EXP, you have Avalon, and then you have the Black Label Access piece. So tell me more about that piece.
Black Label Access, I really, really, really like the collaborative part of it. So I'll give you an example. So there's a woman, an agent or a team in Raleigh called E3 Realty Group.
Okay.
Dave and Felicia.
Okay, shout out to Dave and Felicia.
So Felicia approached me and said, hey, I want you to check this out. And I was like, no, I'm good. I don't want you. So then, we got on the phone and started talking about the advantages and not just with EXP, but with Black Label Access. So there's different collaborative groups. We have BLA Women Connect, where, there's women that get together. As a matter of fact, we have this challenge going on right now where we're pushing each other to walk 30 minutes a day.
Oh, cool.
So it's not just real estate based. It's about helping everybody that's within Black Label Access, mind, body, soul.
Right. Oh, wonderful.
So,
I think since COVID, I think a lot of people have started to dial in more to that work-life balance, right? I think it's a scary time for all of us because we all lost people and so forth and so on. So it certainly makes you take a step back and think about, like, what do I really want to be doing? And, how do I add some family, some fun, and some life into my job? So it's cool that you guys as a collaboration not only think about the business side, we all got to get that done, but also take the time to do stuff together. When I thought of, I love the name of it because it sounds like, it sounds luxury to me when you say Black Label Access. I think about, if you get an Uber, you can get the Uber Blacks and they got the nice cars.
Right.
When I saw it, I was like, oh, this is like the fancy Uber.
Yes, it is the fancy, the the fancy family of real estate.
There is. That's the connection.
But also, I'll tell you one other thing that I really love, and I hate that we missed it. So for Avalon, I plan our quarterly meetings from at the beginning of the year.
Right. I saw the picture from that. I posted it.
Right. Yeah, you did. So we have our dates set from now through December.
Okay.
So it just so happened that this past weekend, Black Label Access Week, called BLA for short, they had a kickball game.
Oh, cool.
I was so mad I missed it because I'm super competitive.
Yeah.
But just to see the pictures and the videos from it, it just solidifies that part about, we all work together, we help each other, but there's also that kind of sort of family feel too. So it's pretty dope.
That sounds like a lot of fun, a kickball game. So I'm going to back up a little bit because you have a long career in real estate. How'd you first get in? How'd you first get started? Like, what was the catalyst or, tell me that story.
So initially, I was in property management. So when you work for a company, you don't have to be licensed if you're a W-2 employee.
Right.
So I started in property management and got all the way up to general manager for a company, which I won't talk about. But I started thinking, if I can sell apartments, I can sell houses and make way more money.
Absolutely.
So I went and got my license, and just over these 17 years, been learning all the different aspects of real estate, investing. I've done flips, wholesales, subject to lease with option to buy. So, yeah, I've done a lot over the past 17 years.
Wow.
And a lot of it self-taught.
And you had to, with real estate going up and down, I mean, that's a wealth of experience because you've seen the boom, right? You've seen from the lending side. When we go through our classes on lending and we go through that period of time, and I'm just like, they were giving away, and people don't know this, the majority of the lending rules now come from that period. Like all the different
trade and all that.
All those sanctions and all those things and that lending test is out of control, but it is. So I took the real estate. I have a real estate license, but I'm not hung anywhere. I kept it because I started in real estate, but I'm never taking that test again. So I just stay active. I pay my money and take my classes so I can just just in case.
Right.
But I'm a full-time lender, and between the two tests, I'd rather take the real estate test over.
Really?
Yes, because not to get off of track, from my perspective, the real estate test there's some parts of the test that just make sense. They're just like in the natural flow of business, what you should do, what you shouldn't do. The lending test is not like that. Like you just have to memorize it. You can't reason it out. Not from my perspective, where you can't reason it out. Either you know it or you don't. When I was taking the real estate test, I was like, okay, what feels right? Like, what feels right to protect the consumer? Because the real estate test, from my perspective, is all about protecting the consumer. I don't know what the purpose of the lending test is. It's literally, it's just not. I don't know. It's not. You can't reason through it. You just have to know it. So that was the difference for me. But,
interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. So. But what I was going to say is, in that period of time, you've seen all the ups and downs, and you can, how to survive through them. Because there's a lot of people through certain periods. I know a lot of people in 3 years or 4 years, even 5 years, just kind of threw their hands up in the air and be like, "Hey, I'm done with this." So that leads me into another question: how would you advise somebody, or how did you just really survive through all the ups and downs in real estate over the past almost 2 decades?
I know it's like a cliche thing that people say. They say pivot.
Right.
But
absolutely.
I've always been like a chameleon. And the one thing that I never do is box myself into a corner and just know one thing.
Right.
So that's where all of the investing and all that came from, because I'm a hustler. I'm going to make it somewhere in real estate.
Make it do what it do.
I'm going to make it do what it do. Somewhere in real estate. But as a realtor, though, I would say just, keep an education first and foremost.
Right.
And then if you're not someone that has a lot of opportunity for, you good? Okay. That has a lot of opportunity for education, find a good mentor.
Absolutely.
Find a good mentor. Absolutely. Or somebody that can take you under their wing and will 100% be there for you.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I do for people in the Avalon Realty Group and Black Label Access. Um, if somebody posts a question in our work chat, if someone else doesn't answer it, I'll go answer it, or I'll say, hey, you can call me or whatever. That's a collaborative part of Black Label Access.
Right.
But the Avalon Realty Group in particular, they can call me at 8 o'clock at night. Hey, Lisa, I got a question. If it's an emergency, they know it has to be an emergency.
Right.
If it's an emergency, they can call me late. But otherwise, it's a text or whatever. I'm just always there when they need me.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. What an amazing wealth of experience for the agents in the group and new agents to have someone who has seen like 90% of what's going to happen before it happens already. Like that's, I can't imagine having that, wealth of experience, at your fingertips, and hopefully they take advantage of that as well. So back into the real estate side, for the Triangle area, what's your outlook on this market? What do you feel like is coming in the next 3 months for this area?
I feel like because I do try to keep my eye on what's going on. I think it's still gonna appreciate.
Yeah.
It's kind of steady right now. It's turning into a buyer's market, but I feel like prices are still appreciating.
Yeah, I like the market. I just love even though there are some people that feel like they're struggling. I've heard people say, "Hey, it's kind of getting tight." It's weird.
Oh, you mean for realtors?
Realtors, yeah. And this is the thing that I would say. I hear that from some people, and some people are having a great time. Like some people are flourishing. So I think it really has to do on how you're structured and how aggressive you are as far as your work and business. But I certainly hear from both sides. But I think that it's a good market the market is going to be good for you if you're putting in the work and time. I think if you're waiting for days of old where work was just everywhere, the opportunities were everywhere, you may struggle some.
Yeah, this is one of those times where you really have to put your hands to the plow.
Yeah,
it's kind of like
I never heard that before. Hands to the plow.
Oh, really?
I
don't know where I heard that because I'm not from the South, but I heard that somewhere. It was an old Southern saying, but
makes sense though.
You gotta get in there and grind. You gotta go get it. I mean, at the end of the day, the people that survive and the people that are gonna survive in this business for the next little bit are the ones that are really putting in the work.
And so we got into this a little bit, just talking about your experience and what you do for the group. But I will still, what do you feel like is differentiates you and your company from the other companies out? Because there's a lot of obviously agents and groups and et cetera in the market. I always ask, like, what do you feel like is your niche or you do better than anybody else?
New construction and working with investors.
Okay.
New construction simply because I worked for a major builder for 4 years. So where most agents were kind of, sitting in the office and just selling homes, I was in the background asking questions in the main office. I was asking the land guy questions, the purchasing guy questions. I was asking questions about how the business runs on the backside.
Right. Just learning all
the time.
Key.
And then investing, because I'm an investor myself, but like I said, I started back in 2008 when the crash happened.
Right.
So just I know how to work numbers very quick when it comes to investors, and not everybody knows how to do that.
Yeah. And so, to go back on something you said before, pivoting is extremely important in all things, and having a mentor, no matter where you're at, always having a mentor, always having someone that knows more than you about the subject matter and being comfortable with that. I see a lot of people sometimes that, I feel like their ego gets involved, and so they are afraid to have mentors or someone, again, that knows more than you about the subject. But truthfully, that's a good thing. I always, I've been able to be in different industries and different types of business, and in each one of those, I look for someone that can be a mentor who knows more about it than me so that I can get that knowledge.
Right.
And I always suggest that even, I coach football, coach sports, young people as well. Like, hey, find somebody that you trust, but that can teach you more so that you can continue learning.
Mm-hmm.
So, having a mentor, if you get nothing else out of this podcast, having a mentor and the ability to pivot,
Mm-hmm.
like that's a powerful skill set.
Yeah.
To be able to pivot.
Mm-hmm.
So I get this question, and I talk about this a lot. Between being a listing agent and a buyer's agent, which one's your favorite? Yeah.
A listing agent.
Listing? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Me too. A lot of people try to give like the political, like, oh, I like both. They're equal. Like, you gotta
Listen,
like.
people, I am real.
Right.
Listing.
You gotta like one. I said, listen, I had like 3 people do that. And I'm like, you have to like one more than the other. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah,
to
it
like
is.
one.
And it's not, I mean, I love working with buyers.
Right.
I do.
I think it's the certainty that comes, at least in this market.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe other markets it's not. But there's a certain type of certainty that comes when listing a house, because 90% of the time you're going to sell that house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
99.9% of the time somebody's. I have, back when I was an agent, I had a really, really tough one.
Mm-hmm.
Took a little while to sell it, but it sold.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas with a buyer,
Mm-hmm.
you don't know. Maybe they don't, and it's, maybe they don't find what they want. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
circumstances change.
Right. Interest rates.
Yeah.
But yeah, when it comes to working with buyers, I like it too, because you get a chance to build a relationship.
Right.
A lot of times you do. Like one of the homes I sold, so end of last month, I think we closed on the 25th. So she's moving back down. It was a relocation move from Michigan to North Carolina. She texted me. She was driving down Sunday, and she said, hey, I'm coming. As soon as we get everything together, we're going to have you over.
Right.
So, you create those relationships, and that's cool too.
Yeah.
Will you click with everybody? No. But to go back to your question, listing, yeah, because it's like you do create the same type of relationships,
Absolutely.
but you just spend more time with the buyers.
Yeah. You just spend
But listings, you're kind of like, you list the house.
Yeah. It's because
whatever.
I get it. I used to get a kick out of the opportunity to try to come up with creative ways to market the house.
Oh, okay.
Like I spend time. Sometimes I felt like I drone a house because I love droning.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll have like 30-minute drone footage of more than necessary, because I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get this angle, or this is pretty, or they have a great backyard. So I got so much drone footage, just like,
I might need
okay.
to hire you. I got a listing coming up, and I don't have drone footage for
I
it.
love drone. I love this.
I have 3 listings coming up.
I had to have excuses to buy all the drones that I have. So that was my excuse. Like, oh no, this one does this. I need this.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I love it. So it brings out my marketing and branding side. So, and I love buyers too. Like you said, the relationship with buyers, because you see them so often.
Mm-hmm.
Showing houses is I wouldn't say deeper, but it's certainly a different type of relationship, because you typically spend more time together on the listing side. Once you list a house, when you communicate, but until you got something, offers in,
Mm-hmm.
you just kind of, your conversations aren't as deep.
Right.
So tell me, where do you see, what's your goals for the Avalon Group in the next, let's say, 2-3 years? Like, what's your future look like?
Definitely, the plan is to grow the firm, grow the brand. I don't know. I might be working with Omar over here to get some stuff done.
It's all about.
I'm not gonna talk about it. We'll just
Good
pop out on
surprise. Good surprise.
We're gonna pop out on it.
So tell us let everybody know how to get in contact with you, how to reach you, and all those types of details.
Okay, so you can go to my website. It's avalonrealtygroup.org. My email is B like Bravo, I like Indigo, C like Charlie @avalonrealtygroup.org. And my phone number is 910-580-6538.
Okay, cool. So we talked about the work-life, work-family balance. What do you do for fun? Because I know we lenders, agents, we typically are 24/7 accessible by phone, because that's just, part of the business, being there for your clients,
Mm-hmm.
Making sure they have what they need. However, you got to have that downtime. So, So what do you do for fun?
Wow.
Loaded question, right?
It is. I read.
Oh, cool.
I just got back into working out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Favorite books? What or type of book? What type of books? Me, I read. I can't read. I can read, but I don't like the fantasy stuff. I like,
Mhm.
okay, how do I build this? I like stuff that I can apply. I'm a very applicable person. I want to read
Mhm.
something that once I finish reading it, I have a new skill. That's kind of the
Mhm.
type of, like, I got to read with a purpose. I don't want to, if I'm going to read like fantasy stuff, I might as well just watch TV. I want to be able to, like, hey, this is how you build a multi-million-dollar company. All right, cool. Maybe I
There
can
you go.
glean something from this information. So I'm a very practical reader. What do you like to read?
There you go. Self-help,
Right. Okay.
how to improve my
There
business,
you go. See, we're in
just
the same space. If
just
I'm a
always um yeah, always building something.
cool.
Mhm.
So with the group, I saw the picture of you guys quarterly meetings. You guys look like you were having a blast.
Mhm.
Talk about those guys. Like, are they seem like a lot of fun? I got to go to one of these meetings because you guys seem like you're having a party.
Man, you don't even
So how do you?
understand.
So a good question is managing, being the person in charge. How do you manage those different personalities? Is it easy? Is it hard? Is everybody? How do you handle that?
Um, I don't know. It just naturally comes to me for
Okay,
whatever reason. I think anybody managing multiple personalities is going to be a little bit,
it is
it's I'm not going to say it's hard. It can be challenging
challenging.
at times, but once you get to know each person, you know how to, interact with them.
Right.
So,
So I think this may be my last question. I may think of something else. But the most important question of the day: what do you look for in a lender? I'm a lender, obviously, so I
mhm.
always try to have, to learn and to grow myself and talk to agents like, hey, what's your, golden lender scenario, and what's a horror story?
Communication
Yeah.
is everything because I'm very, very in the mix.
Okay.
I want to know, hey, have they gotten conditional approval? Is there filing underwriting? Has it come out of underwriting? Are there conditions? I'm all in it.
Right.
So communication is key for me. Lender horror story. Oh my God. I got this relocation client moving from California. She was pre-approved with, I'm going to just say
Oh
it.
no. Hey, if you're okay with it, I'm okay with it. Oh, go.
They told her some because this is my understanding. From what I understand, you know what? Yeah, maybe we should probably cut that out.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Okay.
so okay, I have to just start over
Yep,
from.
yep.
Okay, so yeah, so I do have a horror story. One of my clients was approved with so
With a mortgage company not to be named.
anyway, so she was
Wasn't me.
pre-approved.
That's the
No,
important
it
part.
wasn't him.
Wasn't me.
It wasn't him. They told her so in California. Somehow gambling, it's something about gambling is they give you some sort of tax document.
Right, right.
So they told her that she could use that tax document to help prove some of her income.
Mm,
Mm-mm,
it wasn't true.
mm-mm. Then when we,
You got to figure out this stuff in advance, though. The waiting until.
well, they didn't
right
take her
before.
file through underwriting.
Why?
Yeah.
So it never got there.
No, it when it got
I'm
to underwriting is
confused.
what when it got to underwriting, that's when they were like, no, we can't use this document. So anyway, fast forward. We found another lender, and this lender was, he's very, very savvy. His name is well, okay. So anyway, we found another lender, very, very savvy guy. He was able to help us out. So once we got to this was an FHA loan. Once we got to a certain place in the loan, they tried to blacklist her to like saying that she did some kind of fraud.
Who, the previous?
The previous lender.
What? Why did they should have just stepped away? Like, we can't do it.
They didn't want to give up the FHA appraisal. They tried to say she was doing
I've
fraud.
never heard of that before.
Man, it was, you said horror story. I'm giving it to you.
Oh my goodness.
So
that's horrible.
Horrible. So anyway, he caught that. The new lender caught that in the background and was like, no. There's no fraud going on here. And so he was able to, kind of put the kibosh on that. But just the fact that you're mad because she wants to take her business somewhere else. So
that kind of makes me angry. Somebody wants to own a home. And that the equity, and I can get into the historically how important it is to own a home and build equity and what that means for a community and generational and all that stuff. I won't go there, but that angers me that you're going to try to step in somebody else's way of their dream, knowing that there's nothing wrong. Like that's just bad practice. And I'm going to say this too: when you get a lender, get somebody personal. The company that we're referring to is more of a big box, people moving buttons and automated, if you will. It's not, from my experience, because I have had some experience with them, it's not a person that's personal about the loan. Because I'm personal with all of my loans, I'm personal with because I feel like one of the advantages that I have is coming from the agent side and the lender side because I already know or have a great idea as to what the agents want because that's the same thing I would want.
Yeah, we want to be able to pick up the phone and call you, even if it's on Saturday at 6:00. If you're available, and say, hey, my client might have a concern about this, and then you answer the concern you're going to, or even just text, hey, I'm with family right now. Can I call you back at this time?
When I got into lending, I thought it was odd that a significant amount of lenders don't do that. There's this kind of, I don't know, positioning of, I don't know. It was weird to me coming in as an agent and kind of seeing and listening to some of the practices because for me, when I had agents say, hey, the most important thing is communication, and they told me what they wanted, I was happy because in my mind, I'm like, I was going to do that anyway. Like what they do sometimes is if they don't have good news, and you guys have probably heard me say this a number of times, if they don't have good news, they won't communicate. If they don't have no news, sometimes they won't communicate. But a lot of lenders don't realize that not having any news or any traction is still information. I still owe you a call and say, hey, we're good. We don't need anything. I don't need any documents. We're good. I just don't have any movement right now. I expect some movement at this point, or in a week, or in 3 days. So when and you set these timelines of communication, hey, we're good right now. We don't need anything. I don't have any movement on your file. I'll update you when there's movement. If a certain amount of days passed and there's still no movement for whatever reason, I'm still going to communicate that with you. I'm also going to check on the other side and find out why. So it's a living, breathing, active conversation.
Absolutely.
That's what the agents want, a living, breathing, active conversation, just like we're on a team. I always refer everything to coaching because I coach sports. But we're on a team. In order for that team to be successful, we have to communicate. My guys are playing offense. They got to communicate. Everybody on the team has to communicate. My guys playing defense, if they're not communicating, like, hey, we got an extra guy on this side, 3 in the backfield, blah, blah, blah.
Trips.
Right.
I'm sorry, I played football for 14 years.
Okay. What?
I did.
Get out of here.
Football, yeah.
Oh, man, we're going to have some. You got to come to some of my games and stuff.
Okay.
We're going to talk more.
Okay.
But if they're not communicating, guess what they're doing? Give me some laps.
Yep.
So we have to communicate. My guys, they know if I hit one of these, everybody start running because we're going to communicate. So I take that over here and say, hey, we're going to have an active, living, breathing communication type deal.
Awesome.
So I got into that because that's horrible. I can't believe that the blackballing kind of like set me off. Like, don't do that.
It was,
let
it was
go
terrible.
And go on your way and let that lender and that person go off in happiness. Don't go back and try to blackball anybody. It's just not. It's not cool. Man, I forgot.
Yeah, that thing got you.
It did. Man, it's not cool. It's not how you treat people. It's terrible.
Yeah, it was a really bad situation. But just luckily, we got it to the closing table, and that was 3 years ago, and we're still friends. I just hung out at her house a couple weeks ago for her son's birthday.
So I know what I was going to say. So we did the Linden horror stories. What about a great agent story and a bad agent story? That's what I was going.
A great agent story. One that I closed about 4 or 5 months ago. Susan Q. She's in the Fayetteville area.
Okay.
Communication was amazing. We follow each other on TikTok. The communication was amazing. It was so smooth.
This is a buyer.
She was the listing agent. I was representing the buyer.
So great. Mm-hmm. So you guys had the communication.
It was amazing, amazing from start to finish. No hiccups.
Cool.
It was amazing. The worst of the worst of the worst that I've had to.
Worse than the lender story you just told me.
Well,
equally bad.
Maybe.
All right, go ahead. Tell me.
I'm not gonna name the realtor because I don't want to throw salt, but I could.
No, we're not gonna do it.
No, I'm kidding.
Not gonna do it.
No, I'm not. But so this particular agent I was working with in Durham, and so I was representing the buyer again. We went under contract, and as we got closer to the close date,
mm-hmm.
So basically the realtor just kept lie after lie about repairs, about this, about that. Had I not been knowledgeable, she probably could have skated with a lot of the stuff.
Right.
But just lying about repairs, like they were supposed to repair a sunroof, like a sun thing. She said it got done. I had somebody go look at it.
Didn't do it.
So come to find out, she was lying to the seller and to me.
Oh my goodness.
So as it got closer to the close date, the close date kept getting pushed back. She said because the sellers were on a cruise. The sellers are not on a cruise. When I finally got to talk to the sellers were like, "No, we've been here, and she hasn't been communicating with us."
Just blatant
lies. Wow. And then finally, she did not advise her clients that a generator is a fixture.
Right.
When they left, they capped off. They capped off the gas. They capped the electrical, and they took the generator.
Now, was this a portable generator or one that's attached to the house?
It was a fixed gas, electric,
running straight
into the house.
Oh, not one of those that you carry.
And they
took it off and
they capped everything off and took it.
Wow.
And then we started.
If you got to cap the gas and the energy off, that's fixed without question. So
when we finally got in touch with the seller, I got in touch with the seller after closing. Eventually he stopped responding because, we were like, you got to bring it back.
Right.
So my client
it's easier to bring it back versus us having to go a different direction.
Well, she went that direction and she got awarded. He had to buy a brand new generator for that house.
And it would have just been easier to bring it back.
Mm-hmm.
I had I mean, it happens.
That has never happened.
The first two that I had a really easy one, mm-hmm. Great, wonderful, perfect. And right behind it, the first two ever as an agent had a horrible one. And my mentor, shout out to Amy Winstead, my mentor was like, Omar, this is not natural. I need mm-hmm. you to know that this is not natural. And I think the lady knew at the time that I was new. So she was calling me. She was talking junk. She was talking. I was like, I'm new, so I'm trying to be, professional and cordial. Mm-hmm. And so Amy jumped in and was like, no, she was like, this is wrong. She's trying to bully you. I had so many text messages from this lady, like just going at me. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Because the first one I had was clean as a whistle, no mm-hmm. problem. The second one, man, it was horrible. You
see my face, right? I'm like a lioness with her cubs. Do not come for my agents. Don't try to bully. I'm going to stop because I call them my team. Don't try to bully my team.
Right.
Because you're going to have a problem.
Yeah, Amy had my back. No. She was like, I need you we're going to handle this, but mm-hmm. this is not how it's supposed to be.
Right.
And then she was like, I'm kind of glad that this happened so you can see, I got to see both sides in my first mm-hmm. two transactions. I got to see just everybody in harmony and the skies open up. And then I got this lady and she was like, just mean-spirited and making stuff up. Did
she hit you with, well, I've been in the business for 30 years and I know what I'm doing, or however many years?
Everything that she could throw at me. My phone was always going off about little things, and I was going my way to make it was crazy, but it was very upsetting. I'm not gonna front. It was very upsetting. And then after that, we fixed the locks. We changed out the locks mm-hmm. on the back doors, mm-hmm. had them tested. had the new buyer there while we had him tested, gave her the keys. I had the presence of mind to take a picture of the new keys and the new locks because I was just like, I'm double, triple checking everything. Right. Not only that, before we closed, because the new buyer and the agent were both kind of wonky. You know, she had beer and alcohol delivered to the house before we closed on the porch, sitting there.
She was ready to drink.
She was ready to turn up. I was like, yo, we haven't even closed yet, and you have alcohol on the porch of this house.
That's crazy.
Yo, it was tough. That was a tough experience. But, you know, it happens. We go through it. Is there anything else that you want our audience to know or talk about or anything like that before we head out?
Nope. No. Nope. I'm just thank you for having me. I enjoyed my time.
Yep. Very fun.
Yep. Nothing else.
All right. So we're going to end here for today. Want to thank you guys for joining us, and we will see you next time.
Bye.